Let's talk about virtual switches. Let's say that I have a computer here, this big giant computer. On this computer I have some virtualization software, which means I can run separate windows with different computers on them. Now, how are these computers going to talk to each other? Is it going to be like there's a switch sitting out here and they're all connected to that switch? And what about this big host computer? Is it connected to that switch as well? That's the kind of thing we're talking about. Now, in order to demonstrate this, I think what I'll do here is open up VirtualBox. And if you have never used virtual machines before, this will be a good introduction to them for you. I've got two different versions of Windows. I've got a Windows 10 and a Windows 7 on here. Let's start up Windows 7, and we'll also start up Windows 10. Now we'll have to wait for a minute for these things to get started. It won't take very long. In the meantime, while we're waiting for those to start up, let's go ahead and look at the settings for my Windows 7 machine. I'm going to go to Settings here. And one of the settings I have is Network. What does the network look like? What are there for switches, in other words? And you can see that I have something called NAT, Bridged Adapter, Internal Network, Host Only Adapter. Now there are some others. I'm not going to cover all of these, but because these first four are ones that you commonly see on other kinds of virtualization software as well. By the way, let's take a look and see how we're doing here. Here's my Windows 10 computer on here, and I can run this and run applications in it just like I could any other Windows 10 computer. Here's my Windows 7 computer, and it's now up, and I can run that. So all of these computers are separate. I've got three computers running right now. I've got two virtual computers and one host computer, the one that this is all running on. So if you've never seen virtualization, now you have. So back to our settings. You see NAT here. Well, what does NAT mean? Well, you know a little bit about NAT already, Network Access Translation, or Network Address Translation. What's going on here is that I can set an IP address that's different on a different network from the network that my host machine is on, and it will translate the two so that it will appear that virtual machine is on the same network as my host machine, and that way I can get out to the internet and so on, because it's using my host machine, my host machine's address, in order to get out on the internet, and then it's translating that IP address back again when it goes back to my virtual machine. If I have all of my machines set at NAT, let's set this one at NAT up here, if it's not already. Yeah, all of my machines are set on NAT, and so now my two virtual machines can talk to each other. They can talk to the host machine. The host machine in turn can go out on the internet, come back, send that information back to my network that Windows 7 and Windows 10 are both on. Now that's assuming that I have them both set to the same network, but it doesn't have to be the same network as my host machine. Another option I have in here in networking is bridged. Now if I have it set to bridged, what I actually have is these two computers on the same network as my host computer. So if I say, let's say my host computer is 10.0.1.1, this might be 10.0.1.2, and this one might be 10.0.1.3. To the internet, they look like three separate computers. That would be a bridged adapter. An internal network means that these two can talk to each other, but they do not interact with the host at all. They are separate from the host. I've got my own little network of two computers if I set both of these to internal network. If I set them to host only, then these two computers are independent of each other, and they are not on a network with any other computer. They are standalone computers. So those are the four main options that I have in most virtualization software, be it VMware, Hyper-V, VirtualBox or any other.